On to the English turn. Round 1, Axis and Allies, 1914. England, despite being an island nation, has a massive empire all around the globe at this time period. England is the second strongest faction on the board in terms of economy. They have 30 IPCs compared to the Germans, who are in first place for economy. They have 35 IPCs. England, however, has the biggest navy. Battleships and naval units are the most expensive units in the game. And England has, well, ships all around the board. With this massive navy, especially a massive home fleet, they can really threaten the Germans on their coast. England can really prioritize dominating the Atlantic if they so choose to, despite the fact that the Germans have submarines. England's home fleet can most likely, most likely will, if the English so please, destroy the German home fleet. With this many African colonies, England can easily dominate Africa. British South African forces rival German South African forces. The British forces in Anglo-Egyptian Sudan rival the Germans in German East Africa. They just invaded Belgian Congo. But then there's the British forces in Egypt. Now that's a full army right there. Britain can do a lot of damage with that. And just like France, England can take its colonial troops and deploy them anywhere they want in the world. They are actually able to do it better than the French, or, just like the French did on their last turn, can take colonial troops and bring them towards the front line, which is, well, the battleground of France. England is only across the channel. Very often, and just as in World War I, as they did in World War I, can take their forces and ship them across the channel to assist the French. But seeing how the Germans have invaded Belgium, the English will have to find a way, not find a way. The English will have to ship their troops across the channel to Picardy, which is still French soil. They just can't put their troops in Belgium now. Assuming that England still holds Sea Zone 9, which is pretty much the channel. Sea Zone 9 is pretty much the channel. They got one transport, and one transport is definitely not enough to, ship all these troops across. Over here, one of the unique things about England is that they have a second city. Instead of just being able to muster troops in the capital, like all other nations do, England can muster as many troops as they want here. I believe, and we all Axis and Allies 1914 players know this, India is the staging ground for assaulting the Ottoman Empire. And very often the Ottoman Empire is the first faction to go because they are so weak. So that is definitely going to be our strategy when we do the British turn. So, starting off with the British turn. The Germans have moved in Africa. They've invaded 2 regions. The Germans are also surrounding our navy here at home. The odds of us winning this battle are pretty damn good because our Navy is bigger and stronger, and we will be fighting this battle in our home territory with a harbor. And since we have a harbor here, if the Germans attack us, they will have to deal with our sea mines. These submarines will definitely be a problem, though. The Germans on their next turn will likely attack. So we can attack the German Navy if we please. However, they have a harbor here, so that would be their home waters, which means we would have to deal with their mines. We will likely just have to sit this one out. Wait for the Germans to come to us. And we can't bother attacking these submarines because if we attack these submarines, then, well, we can't because they're submarines. They submerge when they want to. Or emerge when they want to. Let's go on ahead and do our buying phase. England has 30 IPCs. The British soldier. 6 British soldiers. That would be 18 IPCs. Plus 3 artillery pieces to really supplement our assault. That is 3 artillery pieces is 12 IPCs. So 12 plus 18 is 30. So we've just spent all of our IPCs. On to the offensive, onto our combat phase. Let's go on ahead and take German territory. Let's chase the Germans. We could attack them, but it would literally be anybody's battle. And we can't risk losing these territories. We need to simply match the Germans blow for blow by simply trailing them, tracking them, or taking territories, their territories, or recapturing territories that they leave. No offensive moves here. Oh, we can definitely take this army and move into Transjordan. We definitely outnumber the Ottomans 3-1. So let's go on ahead and take this pathetic army out and take that puny, sparsely resourced territory. In order to get to the Ottomans, we need to go through Persia. After we get through Persia, we can move on to the Russians next round. So let's take 4 troops and 2 artillery pieces and attack into Persia. Persia is a neutral country, so it will arm themselves against us. British colonial conquest. Look at that. It seems that the British really don't have that many offensive moves anymore. We can't use our Navy to attack. That would just be... The Germans would have a defensive advantage, and it would really just weaken our Navy altogether. Let's just wait for them to come to us. Yeah, we got no more offensive actions we want to do. So after those battles are fought, let's concentrate on our move phase. Let's move all of our units to London. To ready our troops for offloading into France. Let's take 2 of these troops, load them up, and bring them towards the front line. Sorry. Anyway. Let's go on ahead and move this soldier into French West Africa. Prevent the Germans from taking French territory. The French need all the IPCs they can get. Let's also take 2 soldiers and transport them on this transport to Saudi Arabia. If we go to Saudi Arabia and we activate this country, we will get +2 units, one of them being artillery. We are now threatening the Ottomans from the south. On average, that is all that I wish to do for the British turn. Let's place our troops. 6 soldiers in India, 3 artillery in India. I will do these battles after the video is done. I can tell you that the Ottomans likely didn't survive this assault, and more than likely they on average only got 1 or 2 hits. I'll just factor that in. And as for these guys, they most likely only got 2 hits on average. And the British, probably got like 2 also. But that's just average. We're not worrying about the combat. I'm ending this turn by placing our purchased units. These purchased units would be best suited here in Bombay to reinforce our strategy of constantly transporting British troops to Saudi Arabia or Mesopotamia and going into the Ottoman Empire. Oh, look, a transport. We could have taken this transport and moved it 2 spaces. But no. Next turn, if we can get that transport over here, we can transfer 4 troops to Russian Mesopotamia and send the rest into Persia and wipe Persia out. Let's just keep that cruiser there in case the Ottomans try to come into Sea Zone 19 with their cruiser. The British have their hand over the globe like this, and that's one of the most helpful things about the British Empire. With such a strong economy and such a strong navy, it really makes the Allies much more of a diverse alliance and gives them much more unique opportunities to fight such strong centralized factions such as the Central Powers. England is actually one of my favorite factions in this game. I feel that Russia's situation is the most interesting in my eyes, but we all know that the Germans have the most complicated situation, but I really like the English. The English are very unique for this game. On to the Ottoman Empire. This one right here should be interesting.